Well, Jim, no reason to apologize. That was another AEW Dynamite. Maybe other people have a reason to apologize. But why don't we talk about the ratings?
Well, that's the big question. This was show number 300. The big they had to go all out for this, right? With the dream match with Doofus and Doofus 2 and all this other stuff. So they had to do a big number.
Well, AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025 from Ontario, Canada. Excuse me, not Canada, Ontario, California. It says Ontario, CA. I read it as Ontario, Canada.
You've heard of the other white meat? This is the other Ontario.
8 to 10:08 p.m. on average, watched by 584,000 viewers.
Ouch! Well, they came back from Mexico and came back to somewhat of a little reality last week, but this is reality bites.
That's right, a movie from the 90s, but let's go to these ratings.
And love
here.
hurts.
Jim, let's go to
love
these.
Hurts, reality bites. Love also stinks. Love stinks and hurts. Did you know that? Whereas reality only bites.
All right, well, little do we know about what Peter Wolf would have thought of this week's Dynamite, but Jim, let's go to the quarter-hour breakdowns. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. The Adam Page Death Rider Samoa Joe live angle, 687,000 viewers.
Ooh, okay. Two things. One, they're still starting out low, and two, they're going to drop some if they started at that number and to hit their average. So this could be back to normal for an episode of Dynamite.
We go now to quarter 2, 8:15, 8:30 p.m. Mercedes Moné versus Mina Shirakawa. Well, picture ads and bad audio, at least on our part. 593,000 viewers.
All righty, so we're second quarter. We're already under 600. They lost 94,000 people.
Well, we go now to quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. The continuation of Moné versus Mina. The post-match with Tony. The Young Bucks video. An ad break.
Moni.
And the Young Bucks video, it was the second time. Came back from commercial break with more Bucks video. And entrances. 592,000 viewers.
So they're pretty flat there, but they haven't actually seen the Cucamonga kids in the place. That should run them off.
There's an interesting story here on this episode, too, with the key demos. So just real quick, opened at 242, went to 232, now down to 211. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. AR Fox versus Bowens versus MJF versus Brody with picture-in-picture ads. And the post-match with the Hurt Syndicate and Mark Briscoe. 589,000 viewers.
And again, they only lost 3,000, so they've stayed 593, 592, 589. The folks that are there are not yet saying fuck it. But also now we've got MJF and Hurt Syndicate around. We should, I would think, gain something at the top of the hour.
Well, we go to the big 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 9:15 p.m., quarter 5. The Hurt Syndicate Jet Speed live angle.
Maybe they won't gain.
An ad break. And the start of Takeshita and the Young Bucks versus Bandito and Paragon. 577,000 viewers.
Yeah. 12,000, but at the top of the hour to see those folks, no.
Well, we go to quarter 6, 9:15 and 9:30 p.m., the continuation of Takeshita and the Bucks versus Bandito and the Paragon, or just Paragon. Picture-in-picture ads. The post-match with Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. 576,000 viewers.
Good Lord, remarkably fat. Once they flat. Once they pick a number, they stay at 593, 592, 589, now 577, 576. And again, I'm seeing there needs to be some attrition here in the next couple of quarters for them to make their average. They're they're going to start dropping like flies.
And once again, the key demo, the last time I gave you the number was 211, then it was 198, 197, 198. So steady, it dropped and then it stayed steady, just like the real show. Or just like the overall number, not the real show. Quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. An ad break. Swerve and Ospreay versus Drolistico and Mortos. With picture-in-picture. 523,000 viewers. Also, the low point in the key demo at 179.
Ouch, and that's another 53,000 people, and now they're officially down 164,000 from start to that point. And they can't have they're going to do themselves no favors coming up here in this last quarter, so.
Well, we go to quarter 8. I remind you we have an 8-minute overrun. 9:45 to 10 p.m. An ad break. And the start of Okada versus Ibushi with picture-in-picture. 541,000 viewers. 8-minute overrun. Continuation of the match and the post-match with the Callis family and Omega. 574,000. Here's what's interesting, too. Key demo was at 179 for quarter 7. Jumped to 241 for quarter 8. And then went to 267 for the overrun. I don't know if we've seen a jump like that in recent memory, and that's obviously surprising. The fact that there would only be a 300,000 viewer difference between the overall number and the key demo for Okada versus Ibushi is surprising.
Well, it's the younger folks that are more brainwashed to this horse shit because they didn't have as long to watch actual real pro wrestling. But we take the overrun out because, Jesus Christ, that's 30,000 people wandered in to watch Modern Family. I have a feeling most of those people are adults also. That's why I jumped there. But that they gained 18,000 from quarter 7 to quarter 8 to watch that sleepwalking contest, again, they ought to be turning cartwheels. But the more you show them that they can't do anything anymore, doesn't that take the luster off these guys? Shouldn't he at least try to, instead of putting them in with each other when neither one's going to try, put them in with somebody else that'll work hard?
Maybe you get more bang for your buck if you put them in there together. Even if the match isn't good, if it popped the key demo, which is the only thing the network cares about according to AEW, make it a 2-hour Iron Man match with these two.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Neither one are made out of iron. And that would be the longest 2 hours of anybody's life. Okay, so the dream match, instead of drawing 523,000 viewers, drew 541,000. But a bunch of people, what? Now, wait a minute. Hold on here. Something's wrong here. Explain this to me how this could happen, Brian. You say quarter 7 was 523,000 people and 179,000 in the key demo, right?
Correct.
Quarter 8 was 541,000 people. That is 18,000 people more than quarter 7. But the key demo is up 62,000 people. So does that mean that not only did 18,000 new people come into that segment, but suddenly 44,000 people that were watching quit, and another 44,000 in a different age group came in.
And by the way, that age group is 18 to 49-year-old males. So it's not like, a small little age group of young people. 18 to 49 is a pretty big.
Well, yeah, but how do they gain a fucking, hold on, 41, how do they gain 62,000 people in an age group, but only gain 18,000 people overall? That means a bunch of other people in a different age group had to quit fucking watching. Suddenly, all by themselves. When it had gone 211, 198, 197, 198, 178, that, that's fluctuate. All of a sudden, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah, if those viewers hadn't come back, would this have been in the 400s for quarter 8?
Not even come back, but it's a whole different goddamn concoction of them.
That's true.
There are 18,000 more viewers overall, but 62,000 more in the key demo. So where'd the 44,000 people that were between the ages of 5 and 9 and 62 and 94 go?
So those lapsed New Japan fans. There was AEW Dynamite for July 2nd. Welcome to the summer.
Well, you know, it is summertime, Brian. You know what summer means? More warmth, more light, more hours in the day, the daytime, the time to spend outside. You're going to be out and about enjoying the moments from sun up to sundown. You need something to listen to. Because you see it all the time, Brian. You see people walking down the street, look like John Travolta walking down the street, staying alive, having Saturday night fever. Or you see somebody else walking down the street dancing like Elaine Bennis. You can't hear a dadgum thing. There's no noise. But these people, they're not epileptic. They're just having seizures. They're jerking their body. They're all kind of twitching about. And it's because they're listening to their own private soundtrack on the Raycon Everyday Wireless Earbuds. Brian, many members of your family listen to these things, don't they?
That's right. I had a pair, and then someone in the family took it because they love their Raycon, and Suzanne has them. The kids have them. I will hopefully be getting another new pair soon because I love my Raycon.
You know, you can tell who did that if you have that earwax analyzed.
Well, we're not going to go
because
that
everybody,
far.
you know, earwax is just like a blood type. And folks, I'll tell you what, right now, the summertime and the living is easy. And if you're listening to your own soundtrack, it used to be hard. Remember when people used to go out to the beach in the 50s and have to drag their record player along with them and have to actually get down on all fours and somebody would set the record player on the guy's back? And then you'd try to figure out how to plug the speakers in, and sooner or later, the hot dogs would be burnt. Well, now it's easy. And it's not even as hard as back in the boombox days. Brian, you remember that when you had to take a 3-foot long, 2.5 foot high, 80-pound boombox around and listen to your music that way. Now it all goes right in your ears. It all fits right snugly in your ears in a variety of vibrant colors. You can listen to podcasts. You can listen to music. You can listen to talk radio. You can, as a matter of fact, if you want to, have your wife write down a list of things that she needs to nag you about that day. So when you go out on your walk, you can still know what you're doing wrong. All of these things are available with Raycon's everyday earbuds. Well, you can do that also.
Raycon. That is nothing. That's available on your own in your own private time. That's nothing to do with Raycon.
Well, and maybe have her make a sexy time tape. So when you walk down the street, you can listen to the sounds of your wife and pet Dalmatian screaming. And speaking of battery power, with Raycon's quick charge function, just 10 minutes of charging yields 90 minutes of battery. Don't go back and listen to this show.
No, that was sexy time? That was
These earbuds also, don't listen to it again. You'll want to start messing with it. These earbuds also come with active noise cancellation, which is something difficult to find. You can't cancel a noise today in this world for any price. And Raycons start at just half the price of other premium audio brands. You can get 2 pair of these for the same price. You can get one of these overpriced, high-priced premium brands. That means you can have a pair and a spare. Just in case something happens to the pair you got a spare. Or you can find some underprivileged person, go up on a street and stick these things in their ears and imagine their surprise. Watch their face when you give homeless people a pair of these earbuds set to like a police scanner. It's amazing how they'll just immediately start listening like their lives depend on it.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about examples that apply to you that we can all relate to. Needing to listen to some good tunes on the treadmill, needing to get up and go and take your tunes or your podcast with you. Raycon, great earbuds. I wear them. Yes. I love them. My family does. Jim.
Stacy loves them too. Stacy snatches them up every time, and she hasn't heard me speak to her since probably 2015.
You know what her favorite color is?
She's always listening to stuff.
I know what her favorite color of Raycon is.
Chartreuse.
No, mint.
Oh, she got the mint. That's right.
Chartreuse. What?
The chartreuse were a favorite. You know, you can take phone calls on these sumbitches too.
Yes, I
did. Now think about this. Let's say that you've called in sick at work and they call you back just to make sure you're sick, but you're out there sunbathing, all you got to do is make sure you sunbathe right next to your car. And then you say, I'm walking to the doctor's office right now. I'm so sick. And then you blow your horn and scream and slam the door. And then you can get 2 weeks more off of work because they'll think you're in a hospital in traction. See, imagine that, being able to take phone calls anywhere on the go while you're just walking around outside.
Let's imagine
it's amazing.
Let's imagine that part, not the other part. But what's such a great thing is that this is a great deal for the listeners. Jim, why don't we let them know how they can get their Raycon at a great price right now?
Yes, all you got to do is track down the name of the head of Raycon and then scream while honking a horn and slamming a door, and then threaten to sue them unless they send you some new Raycon everyday earbuds. Or if you want to go about it the old-fashioned way.
They have a website that they like us to use.
Yes, if you want to be old-fashioned about it, go to BuyRaycon, BuyRaycon, BuyRaycon.com/JCE. You're going to get 15% off Raycon's best-selling everyday earbuds for music or talk or phone conversations or intercepting secret missions from NASA. You can do everything in this world today.
No, we can't intercept
you've got communication and you got communication devices in your head. You'll be able to pick these things up. And if you raise the My Favorite Martian special antenna.
No, there's no antenna. There's no antenna.
Well, that's only when you press the sound canceling button and go, Uncle Martin, then the antenna go up and you are talking to Mars.
No antenna, but a great way to enjoy your favorite music, your favorite shows. Raycon, Jim, what's that website and that promo code?
15% off the best-selling everyday earbuds at buyraycon.com/JCE. Well, I'll tell you what, you might have Raycons in your ears, but if Ibushi had Raycons in his ears, they would have popped out because you just sent me the clip. What in the world? So they're standing in the ring, him and Kenny. After the show has gone off the air, there's a chair laying in the ring, and Ibushi just turns his back on it, flings himself up in the air, takes a flat back bump with the back of his head landing on the chair, then pops up to his feet, jumps up, gets out of the ring, and waves at everybody and walks off. Even Kenny's looking like, what the fuck did he do that for? What is the matter with these people? Why would you do that? Oh, here, let me take one more bump to show you that everything is all fake and nothing hurts, even the shit that really does. And then I'll hurt myself and then go back to the dressing room.